welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Today, I'm going to unbox and take a quick look at Blitz Bowl Season 2. Now, as you can see from my sticker here, that I got this as part of a bargain table, or off a bargain table at Barnes & Noble, of which I believe Blitz Bowl was an exclusive for a while, and I'll put a link to the video where I show the rest of my finds off that table. This is the last one I'm unboxing, and this is, you would think this is a continuation of Blitz Bowl. However, this is really more of a revamping of Blitz Bowl. They changed the rules a little bit. They give an extra team. You get the humans and another of the dwarves, where this one was the humans and orcs, I believe. But it's really not a full-on extension. It's more of a reskinning of the game in some respects, and not a full reskin. More of a little bit of a rule change with some new. With a new team in the mix, which is in some respects is a little disappointing because I kind of wanted to get just more content and more teams. One of the things they do for Blitz Bowl that's really kind of cool is they give you cards for all the other teams. However, you only get the minis for the two teams that are included in the box. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's also kind of devious because what they're trying to do is, by giving you those cards, if you want to play these other teams, you have to go buy the minis from Blood Bowl. Now, what is Blood Bowl? Well, Blitz Bowl and Blood Bowl are related. Blitz Bowl is kind of the simplified version of Blood Bowl, and Blood Bowl has been around for quite some time. And it basically is it's football, fantasy football, played with, Warhammer universe type figures. It is basically combat fantasy football. Instead of tackling, you are, fighting and stabbing and maiming and all those fun things. Now, the interesting thing about Blood Bowl and Blitz Bowl is that I came up with it first. Actually, when I was in high school, I was in a special program that was for gifted children. Yes, I was gifted. But basically I used it as an excuse to get out of school for a day. So got out of school for a day, and they bust you over to the junior high that I went to. It happened to be at the junior high that I attended. And I had free reign for a day. We had our own kind of wing of the junior high, and we could do what we want. We could write, we could explore science projects, we could design games, and that's what I did. I designed a fantasy football game, a game based on the Dungeons and Dragons world, where the two teams would face off on a field and play something that looked a little bit like football, a little bit like rugby, and basically fight their way into the end zone. But we didn't use a pigskin like they do here. In my game, it was a actual stone, and you had to be pretty strong to carry it, and in order to throw it, you had to use a catapult. So yeah, it was a little bit different game. But I designed that way back in the early 80s, mid-80s, well, early to mid-80s. So, and Blood Bowl came out around about that same time. And Blood Bowl is, again, fantasy football, but with minis, and it was more of a miniatures rules to play the game. And there's been several iterations of Blood Bowl over the years, and there's a whole league and a whole lot of support for it. But Blitz Bowl is, again, kind of a reduced version of that. It's a simplified version. It plays a lot quicker. You don't have as many players that you're dealing with. And the rules are a little bit simplified, where you're kind of going for certain goals or accomplishments that make the game, again, a little bit faster to play, a little bit easier to get your arms around it. So enough of all that. Let's get into the box of Blitz Bowl 2 and see what we have in here. So I played a little bit of Blood Bowl growing up, long after I designed my own game, which never saw the light of day. When Blitz Bowl came out, I decided, well, let me try that, and I actually like Blitz Bowl. I think Blitz Bowl plays. I like the kind of the streamline effect of taking some of the essence of Blood Bowl and then putting it in a easier and faster game to play. So let's see what we get in Blitz Bowl Season 2. Now, I'm not a big miniatures person, although I talk about miniatures all the time. But this is a game that you have to assemble. I mean, the Warhammer type products come on sprues. You need to clip them off and trim and snap together. And this one, you don't necessarily have to. Well, let's look at the back of the box here. You don't necessarily have to use glue. You can use glue, and you can paint if you want to. I'm not, again, I'm not a big painter. But it says right here that you're going to need clipping tools, and but you do not need glue for these. So, and these snapped pretty close together. I'm not really rough on them, but they have not come apart yet. Let's put it that way. So this is easy to build, easy to play. And then if you want to really do them justice, you need to paint them, but that's not me. Here's an example of some of the components. You're going to get a board, you're going to get these minis, and these aren't painted, and that's probably the way I'll play with them most. Then you get some cards. You get cards for the players, then you get some cards for the game, and all that. So this is going to have human and dwarf players. This game, I can't tip it over because I got the minis in there. Was, I think, human and orcs was in this one. So let's get into this one. Feels heavy because they're still on the sprue. Let's get in here. And this is my fantasy football day. This is a special Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday because I'm basically doing fantasy football today. I'm going to do this, which is kind of a fantasy football. It's not the kind of fantasy football that you play with your friends or bet on, but it's fantasy football nonetheless. And it is also the last day of the NFL draft. So it's an NFL draft special edition. Now, in addition to doing this unboxing, talking a little bit about Blitz Bowl Season 2, I'm going to cover in another episode today, hopefully, some of my other fantasy football games or fantasy games that have kind of a sports theme to them. I have several, but I'm just going to pull out some of my top ones to explore, again, on this special Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday and NFL Draft. All right, which is in my birth city today for the first time ever. So you get, this is all shrink wrapped together, which is going to be the board and some of your tables there. We'll get that open. You have the rule book. Ooh, look at this. The rule book, and looks like there's some pads in here. Here we go. And then you get the minis themselves. So these are, what are these? Are these the dwarfs? Yeah, maybe they are. So you're going, as you see here, you're going to need to clip these, trim them a little bit, and then snap them together. It's like the old snap tight models. You guys remember snap tights? I think that's what they were called. I used them a lot. I was not really good with glue. Not that I was banned from glue. Let's not go down that route. But I just wasn't really good with glue. But, I mean, you can glue these if you want to, but as the back of the box says, you don't necessarily have to. So you're going to have to clip these out, trim a little bit, snap them together, or glue them together if you want, and then you paint them if you are so inclined. So you get a sprue for that team, and then a sprue for the other team. I think these look taller. So these are the humans. So you're basically getting another set of humans. You get humans in the Season 1, and then you get humans in this one too. So much for expanding my minis without having to break into Blood Bowl proper. These are the bases that you put them on to, and you can paint those as well, and then you can move them around the board with that. You get special dice for the game. So you got some 8-sided, then you got these special 6-sided, then you have a couple of regular 6-sided as well in there. Then we have decks of cards. So, and see, as I said, you see Wood Elf. Well, you don't get Wood Elf minis, but they have the cards for a bunch of other teams. Again, it's just, I think it's cool, but it's also a way to suck you in and get you to buy the other minis. Some more cards here. Those look like spells, and then ball cards, because the balls themselves are kind of a character in this whole thing. They're special balls that you use. And this is, I don't believe that the original Blitz Bowl had this, but you have kind of a tray to put the minis in after you build them. So you got a little tray there. So without further ado, let's go into some of the cards here and see what we have for the cards. So these are the ball cards here. Get those out here. And I should have be remiss if I didn't say that this is part of the Warhammer collection of products. So I've done some stuff on Warhammer and Warhammer 40K. So here's all your ball cards, and so as you can see, they're good quality cards. They're good thickness. Decent quality cards here. But they have different, like there's a spiky ball, extra spiky ball, rune ball, grudge ball. So you got all different kinds of balls here. Never thought there'd be plague ball. And they have special effects. And so, that's the goal of the game, right? Is to get the ball and move it down the field. So, about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I went looking for those old rules. I keep a lot of stuff from my Ute days, and I couldn't find those old rules about the fantasy game that I developed. There's also a video game that came out when I was in, might have been when I was later in junior high or high school, definitely in college, but I think it was called like Pigskin or something like that, where Pigskin Football or something, where it was a video game, but it was basically like Blitz Bowl, Blood Bowl, like the game I had designed myself. So these are like the challenges. So this is something that's a little bit different, that is a different way to score points in the game. Is you do these challenges. So claim this card if your team scored a touchdown. So you claim a challenge, and so you're going to have these challenges up there along the board during the game. And so there's something, not only you're trying to play the game of Blitz Bowl, but you're trying to accomplish these separate challenges, which makes it a little bit interesting and a little bit more different objectives, different goals, adds a little bit more decisions and strategy of how you're going to play the game. So you have all these different kind of challenges that are in here, and you just got to meet the requirements, and you claim the card, and then you get that many points. And then there's like bonus plays here, and I wonder if don't know if you collect that, if you collect the challenge and you get to play the bonus. It's been a while since I played this, but you got some bonus plays on the back here. So a lot of different variety there. Then we have, where were those at? Were those here? Maybe the ball cards go here. Yeah, I'm gonna put these here. Then we have these long cards. Maybe I got them in the wrong spot here. We'll all figure it out, right? And these are the different team cards. So these are going to represent the different players on your team or positions on your team. So let's see, these are the Wood Elves, Undead team, Skaven, which are kind of a rat type team, Orc team. Of course, I've got orcs in those, so I can use that with my orcs in the previous one. Nurgle, they're disgusting. Lizardmen, human team, halfling team, goblin team, elf team, dwarf team. So let's look at the dwarf team real quick right here. See what kind of players they have. So it looks like you get 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for the dwarf team. They have a blitzer, so it's going to tell you your move, your throw, and your armor. And that's to navigate them on the board. This is basically a miniatures game, and this is kind of the stats for your mini, what they do on the board. And then they have an offensive specialist. They have a little special power here of what they do on the board. You have a lineman, you have a troll slayer, and you've got a runner. And he's got safe hands. You need to get the ball to that guy. Now, not all of them, I think, are going to have 4 people to a team because they might have different positions. They might have less, maybe. Looks like maybe most of these are 4 cards per team. I thought there might be different positions on some of the team. Oh, like the orc team has, yeah, they got 4. Okay. Let's look at the human team real quick here. You've got a thrower. He's got some good move there. You've got a lineman. You've got a blitzer. Oh, that's it. So the human only has, oh, there's another human. Catcher. You got a thrower and a catcher. He's got a lot of move there. So anyway, so you've got all these extra. So the dwarf and human minis are in here, but the rest of these are other teams. The way you get these is you got to go buy a Blood Bowl team pack and, pull the minis off that sprue, and you can add them to this collection and play with these other teams. Now, those Blood Bowl mini packs cost, I don't know, I think they cost $20-$30 maybe more. And you're just getting them for a few of the position cards in Blitz Bowl. So I don't know, that's one reason why I've stayed away from it. Plus, I bought both of these on when they were on clearance. I mean, I got this from Barnes & Noble for $10 hot, and I think I bought the original Blitz Bowl for about the same. I think I got that for $5. I think I found that on sale for $5 at one point. Got the Dark Elf. Oh, sorry, I missed out some more players. You got the Dark Elves. You got Chaos. See, their Chaos team only has 2. They have a blocker and a Beastman runner, looks like there. So there you have it. So let's put these in. Where do these go? I think I put them in here. And put these over. Oops. Took some ball cards. I'm all over the place. All right. So now let's go to these cards here. What are these, pray tell? So these are drills. So I think these might be ways to learn the game or kind of play the game while you're learning. They got drill 1. It tells you how to run the ball. Drill 2 is how it demonstrates the mark action. Drill 3, blocking. Drill 4, more block. 5, throwing the ball. 6, throwing the ball. And 7, scoring touchdowns. So these are drills that you can set up to kind of learn how to play the game. That's kind of cool. All right. Got the dice here. We've got that. We've got the minis. Let's get into the rule bag here and see what we have. And as you were watching this, or after you watch this, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. If you're a Blood Bowl player, what do you think about that? If you are a Blitz Bowl player, what do you think about that? Any of that stuff is all fine. It's a little catalog for Warhammer, talking about a lot of their games here. There's Blitz Bowl Season 2, the one we're cracking open right now. And, if you are a miniatures person, meaning that you assemble them and paint them, then, this is something you might want to play or something you want to get a hold of. Here's the Blitz Bowl coach roster and the coach traits. So you've got several pads of those. Keep track of your coaches there. What's that on there? I thought that one is bent there. Well, that's kind of an interesting. See that in the middle of the thing where it's, interesting. Okay, so we got that. Here's the rule booklet. You've got a reference on the back. I like it when they don't waste space. So you got your reference for round sequence, actions, and block dice, and throwing. So you got all that there. Here's how to assemble your teams. The 2 different teams in this pack here. So the rules itself looks like it is This is league awards. So this might be like extra stuff to play the game. Here's league rules. So you don't have to play with the league rules, but this is how to run a league. Here's extra time rules. And so the game itself is only, what is that? 11 pages, because you go to winning the game is 11 pages. Dual column, color, with examples, and some play notes in there as well. So, for 11 pages, not too bad. So here's your overview of your components, the game board, getting started, explaining some of the character or player position cards here. Here's your setup for the game. Very nice. How to play, and that's again on the back of the this game sequence, and is on the back of the rules here. Important game terms, actions. You've got run action, block action, sidestep action, stand-up action, reserve action, throw action, scoring touchdowns, challenge cards, bonus plays, winning the game. So there you have it. So 11 pages of rules, so not overly complex. Then we've got to get into this stack here, which is the game board and some other player boards or other things that we need for the game here. Boo, 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 boo. Are you enjoying your Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday? Are you watching the draft? Have you enjoyed the draft? I'm filming this a little bit ahead of the draft, so I really don't know all the stuff that's happening. So you can tell me. All right, so these are punch outs here. So you got a reference card that open players you can run, mark, or throw. For mark players, you can block or sidestep. For prone players, you can stand up. For dugout players, they're reserves. They're people you bring in. Here's what the block dice mean. And so you've got a nice little reference here. This, I think, is like your dugout, or where you bring your reserve players or maybe injured players. This is your meter for like long throw or short throw. Like if you're a miniatures player, you're probably used to a range ruler or something like that. Well, here's your range ruler, but it's for throwing the ball for the game. Oop, that just pops right out. So you've got the same thing here, but you've got two different types of. It's got some juice there. You got some bones here. So those are little pop-outs here. Nice. And you've got, of course, your ruler or range ruler there. Then you get the board here. Nice thick board. Really nice here. See a little thickness on the board here. And it's dual-sided. So let's see what's on this side of it right here. And there you have it. So you've got... got some areas here, Cabal vision instead of cable vision, some markings on it. Here's where the ball starts on like a little trap door thing here. And you've got your kind of goal lines here, and then you've got some tracks up here to keep track of stuff. Then here are some of the slots where you put those challenge cards up there as well. You also have a grid here to figure, that's where that 8-sided dice is, to show like direction for the ball and stuff like that. Then we have a flip side, sponsored by Spike Magazine. And this goes up a little bit higher. This goes up to 30 on the score thing here. Or maybe the other one did too. And you got little 2 trapdoors here, so you have multiple balls maybe or something. And then you have these different markings here. So you've got 2 big areas on this one. You've got 4 smaller areas on this one. And different goal line here. So you've got a couple different kind of boards you want to play with too. I don't know how these match up to the boards in the original game, but there you have it. So that is it. That is what you get in a box of Blitz Bowl Season 2. All of it, to me, looks really good. To me, the only really disappointment is the fact that it's not a complete, 2 new complete teams. It's a human team and the dwarf team, although, again, the rules have changed a little bit. I'd have to read up a little bit more on what the rule changes were from this Blitz Bowl. But there you have it. So that is what you get in a box of Blitz Bowl Season 2 on this Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday NFL Draft Edition. That was a mouthful. Anyway, Thank you so much for stopping by. Listen to me ramble on. Love to know what you think about Blitz Bowl or Blitz Bowl Season 2 or Blood Bowl or the NFL Draft or whatever's on your mind. Just keep it civil and have a great day. Thanks for watching.